one news source. This is Fox 59 News at 10.
Tomorrow, history in Washington. Joe Biden becomes the 46th president of the United States.
I know these are dark times, but there's always light.
The transition of power, a tradition outlined in the Constitution.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
But tomorrow's inauguration will be unprecedented.
The pandemic will limit that pomp and circumstance, and threats of violence have brought thousands of troops to the Capitol. But the promise tonight from law enforcement and the outgoing president, this honored tradition will go on as planned, peacefully.
Now more than ever, we must unify around our shared values.
We have your team coverage tonight, right now, on Fox 59 News at 10.
And at this hour, we are now just 14 hours away from the inauguration of Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States. Tonight, the president-elect is spending the night in Washington after saying goodbye to his longtime home in Wilmington, Delaware.
Our next journey to Washington starts here, a place that defines the very best of who we are as Americans.
President Donald Trump will leave Washington before the inauguration tomorrow. In a farewell address this evening, he is extending his best wishes to the next administration and calling for unity tonight.
This week, we inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success in keeping America safe and prosperous.
Now, tomorrow's inauguration will be unlike any other for so many different reasons. We're in the middle of a pandemic, of course. You won't see the normal crowds and traditions that you normally see at an inauguration.
And of course, thousands of National Guard troops are in Washington to provide extra security in light of the events on Capitol Hill just 2 weeks ago. We have a lot to get to, as you can see, so let's hop right to it. Thanks for joining us. We're so glad you're with us. I'm Fanchon Stinger.
And I'm Dan Spieler. Tomorrow's swearing in will see the biggest security presence of any inauguration in U.S. history. 25,000 National Guard troops are part of that. The FBI is vetting all of them ahead of the inauguration because of concerns about an internal attack on the Capitol. However, 12 soldiers have now been pulled from duty for being suspected of having connections to far-right militia groups.
As of tonight, it's important to note the word is there is no known threat at this hour. Fox 59's Courtney Crown talking to a longtime FBI veteran tonight who has extensive national security and counterterrorism experience.
As we saw on January 6th, things can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Former FBI Deputy Director John Pistole has concerns for his former colleagues protecting the U.S. Capitol before and during the presidential inauguration. Pistole is a 26-year veteran of the FBI. His tenure includes an integral security role in the transition from President George W. Bush to President Barack Obama.
Of course, there was a much smaller National Guard presence in those because there wasn't, frankly, an intelligence assessment that said that was needed, as there is now.
Pistole says the vetting of each of the Guard members is unprecedented. The FBI removed at least a dozen Guard members prior to the inauguration, 2 for extremist statements and posts regarding the attack on the Capitol. The Associated Press reports all were removed because of security liabilities. Like some current officials, Pistole is concerned about an inside attack.
But yes, can somebody else do something? And even, unfortunately, like a suicide bomber, somebody who's willing to give up their life, as we saw in international terrorism, of course, 9/11, so vividly displayed. So that's my concern.
In the 2 weeks since the violent riot, Pistole hopes the many layers of security now in place, plus law enforcement's presence, will deter any bad actor from attacking their own country.
So you don't have just one 3-foot little barricade that can be pushed over, as you've seen. We've all seen.
Courtney Crown, Fox 59 News.
Now, the FBI has made more than 100 arrests of people who stormed the Capitol this month. Pistole says the Bureau will look to identify any ringleaders from the attack and hold them accountable.
Also tonight, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are in Washington, D.C. They actually paid respects to those who have died from the coronavirus during a service on the National Mall just this evening. Watch.
To heal, we must remember. It's hard sometimes to remember, but that's how we heal. It's important to do that as a nation. That's why we're here today.
Earlier today, he said goodbye to his longtime home of Delaware. That is where his political journey started, as you know, as a U.S. Senator. He stood at a podium you see there dedicated to his late son, Beau, who passed away from cancer in 2015.
You're with me my whole career. I am even more proud to be standing here doing this from the Major Beau Biden facility. Ladies and gentlemen, I only have one regret. He's not here.
In 2009, Biden became vice president under former President Obama, and tomorrow the 78-year-old will take the oath of office as the 46th president of the United States of America.
4 years ago, we launched a great national effort to rebuild our country, to renew its spirit, and to restore the allegiance of this government to its citizens.
Meantime, President Donald Trump will leave Washington tomorrow morning. This afternoon, he released a recorded farewell address. He says he is praying for the success of the next administration as he reflects on his accomplishments.
We embarked on a mission to make America great again for all Americans. As I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, I stand before you truly proud of what we have achieved together.
President Trump will not attend the inauguration tomorrow, the first time in more than 150 years. The outgoing president will not be there in person. The farewell message comes just a week after President Trump became the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. He's accused of inciting the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. In his message tonight, he says political violence can never be tolerated. The impeachment proceedings, by the way, could start later this week.